So 2016, I bought Bitcoin for the first time. This ultimately changed my life for the obvious reason, right? Now, we're going to do a little series and it's going to be about every single year I've been in crypto. So obviously 2016, 2017, you get the idea, right? This was suggested on Patreon. If you want to follow along, subscribe, hit the like button and leave a comment. I want to know when you bought into crypto for the first time and kind of what you think to this video, because I want to go through the news, what happened in that year, what the price was like, what exchanges were like, and my personal reflections in terms of the market. Not many people see this, but often Patreon members get to ask me questions about it and I tend to answer. And I thought this will be a great video series. Let's get into it. So here we are. This is what the Bitcoin chart looked like. Now, I'm going to be the first to admit I knew about Bitcoin long before I invested, but I really did whimper out and chicken out of it because I didn't quite fully understand it. And I think a lot of people kind of get to that point, and the earlier you are, the risk is there, obviously, right? I had friends, I had family members, I had people who I worked with that really didn't understand what the hell I was doing at the time. And I think even now, today, that's probably still quite a common thing. Now, I invested in crypto in October time of 2016, right? We had a big, massive pump to the upside, then we kind of settled in. And around this sort of area here, like this sort of chunky sort of area, was when I was kind of getting involved in crypto. And it sounded a bit mental here. And the reason being, I just knew people on Facebook at the time who were talking about cryptocurrency. And going back a step, I'll explain why I got in, but it's a bit mad because back then, a lot of the hype was about, oh, the next big thing is Bitcoin. It's like the next big thing. And I thought to myself, oh, I mean, I know about Bitcoin. Now, going back, as I say, I ran a football website years ago, right? And some of the search engine websites and certain websites about marketing at the time in terms of like how to do, word processing bollocks and how to get found on Google had elements around Bitcoin in terms of payments, right? That was the first kind of like, oh, hello. But this was back in like 2012, 2013. I joined the military in 2013, by the way, so I'll go into that as well. So I kind of missed a big chunk of the Mt. Gox stuff, which is probably quite a blessing in disguise. Now, what made me get involved in crypto properly was around 2015. I, weirdly, and this is where it gets really odd. Yeah, it's a place where you sell your used shit, basically. And weirdly, back in those days, they were piloting a bit of a scheme where you can basically use Bitcoin. So as you can see here, May 2014, we're proud to be the first national UK retailer to adopt the popular digital Bitcoin, adding it to WeBuy.com, which was mad, right? So I went into a store in Thetford years ago. This was like in 2015, selling a load of cash because I was in the military at the time and I was bored and I went to go and get rid of some of my old games and random cack that I had. I think I had like an old keyboard and mouse that I didn't need and I just wanted to just get rid of it. And the easiest way to do it was just sell it, right? And I saw a sign similar to that and it kind of made me wonder, I wonder what Bitcoin's doing these days, because I kind of like forgot all about it before joining the military. So that was that. And I thought, right, I'll do a bit of research. And obviously I started doing more and more research and it started to get more and more apparent that, well, maybe I should actually just invest, right? I was an investor in the stock market before that. I was buying into all kinds of random stuff, into index funds, because I used to travel the world, right? Weirdly, I know. And what I used to do in my job, I was in the Air Force Police. And I never used to do police work, but I was like basically a glorified security guard. But I used to go around the world with the aircrafts and protect them most of the time, right? So whether that would be armed or unarmed, going to America, going to Kenya, honestly all over the shop, right? And I used to get paid a lot more than most people at that time, certainly for my age, because you'd get paid at certain countries a daily rate. You'd also not be needing any spends because you're always out of the country, so you're always getting money anyways. And I would get a decent wage. And considering at the time I was like 22, 23, I was quite young. I was really quite young. And I was like, well, what do I do with this money? And weirdly, a lot of the sergeants at the time were saying to us, like, as young people, you should really look to, like, put your money to work, invest it, because, like, they all obviously lost their money through deployments and all kinds of stuff, right? Because they were getting lumps on walls and stuff. So it was very, very interesting. And I had an index fund. I used to use like some Nutmeg and stuff like that. That was my first little foray into it, and I only recently just moved money out of that not too long ago. So yeah, I then invested some money in Bitcoin, and that was it. And that was the start of the journey, right? But when we talk about what was actually happening back in those days, you are going to be like, what on earth, right? Now, the first thing is obviously Bank of England explores distributed ledger technology for settlements. That's changed. IBM goes on a big blockchain unveiling some. I know, right? Ethereum. Blockchain project launched its first production release. Frontier. Labeling it as Bitcoin 2.0 and embracing the technology with rare enthusiasm. That's great. Honestly, some of the stuff around here. R3 announces Coda, which is quite a big thing now, actually, to be fair. Dowd's cast says Craig Wright publishes proof he is creator of Bitcoin. I wonder where that went. Apache founder named Hyperledger director. So Hyperledger is still a big thing, by the way. And then we got Bitcoin halving. So I think I invested not long after Bitcoin halving. That was what that big spike was. And that's where a lot of the noise came from in terms of Bitcoin halving. It's going to go up in price, so we should really buy it. But this is something that I totally forgot about. Ethereum, the first decentralized app, the DAO. Oh my god, it collapsed basically. So basically, what this gave us was the fork, right? The fork of Ethereum Classic, right? Which is absolutely mental. So, where was it? It's on here somewhere. I can't. There we go. Also, the DAOs had set the stage the major controversy leading to the original unforked Ethereum blockchain to be preserved and maintained as Ethereum Classic. Ka-ching! So yeah, oops. Again, we see Bitfinex getting hacked. So yeah, that was all fun and games. And investors are going wild for digital currency. Zcash. Wonder what happens to that. Yeah. IRS seeks data on Coinbase customers. I wonder what's happening to that. So things have really changed. Obviously, Goldman Sachs leaves R3 blockchain consortium. Circle ends Bitcoin buying and selling. Wonder what happened to Circle. So it's really, really interesting to go back to the news fair because they've all kind of went, oh, hello. And if you don't know what Circle is, Circle basically USDC, Jack Dorsey's company. But when we talk about exchanges, oh my exchanges, Bitfinex was the one, right? I didn't really use Bitfinex until later on, actually, weirdly. But it was the first exchange to have all top 20 coins on one exchange. Created Tether this, weirdly. So let's look at the coins, shall we? Well, let's have a look. Rise, Waves, DigiDig, whatever, Breakout, Project Decorium, the DAO. Obviously, we know what happened to that. That's Ethereum. Lisk is the one that I remember. Steam, I remember. Oh, it's crazy, right? Absolutely boggling how things have changed, right? But let's look at what exchanges used to look like. This was Poloniex. I bought my first load of altcoins on this bad boy. And as you can see by the image, the priority was Bitcoin, 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 right? And you can see in terms of how that kind of is. And look at the right-hand side, you can see what sort of projects were around. Not many good ones. Going on to the other one was Bitrex. This was my favorite at the time, and as you can see, Neo was the first one that I made a lot of money on. We'll talk about that in the next video in 2017. But as you can see, look, it is all in the BTC market. And when you go on any exchange now, link below to this one, right? If you're in the UK or certain parts of Europe, you cannot get on certain exchanges. This one, link below, you can, luckily at the moment. Don't know whether that will change or not, but yeah, it's a nightmare. Exchanges are very different nowadays. It's very, very noisy. There's a lot of bells and whistles, right? And more often than not, you find that it is pretty much as USD led on majority of them now, literally. And it's a bit annoying, really. So yeah, it's one of those things. It's like, okay, so yeah, with that, it's a bit of a shame. In terms of everything else, though, right? When we talk about the historical time shot of that time frame, which was roughly October 2016, and when I was buying it. Now, as you can see, the top has changed a lot. Look at Ethereum. Look at Bitcoin, obviously. XRP still up there. Ethereum Classic, obviously, but there's some stuff here that is like, oh my god. And that's the thing. There was not many altcoins. Tether was not a thing. Pretty much, it was very, very early adoption. I don't even think if it's in the top. There it is. Tether was a $6.9 million asset with only $254,000 volume. Madness, I know. So going back, it's really cool to see how this was kind of like the meme era, realistically. And even if I go into view all here, right, you can see history goes back for a long time. But even back, after all these years of life in the cryptocurrency industry, we still have meme coins, shit coins, mental coins, right? And we can see that kind of evolution again. Look at Bitcoin runes, for example, right now, they're all meme coins, right? Bitcoin, in my opinion, is the biggest cult with the biggest amount of money and the biggest infrastructure ever, right? It took years to get to this point. Altcoins are going to be the same sort of situation, but look at it, right? There's not many altcoins even there. You go, wow, I wouldn't have thought they would have done well. But look at the price appreciation of some of them. It's crazy, isn't it? It's absolutely mad. Look at XRP. I had XRP at one point, funny enough. Obviously, crazy, absolute madness. But let's talk about some stuff here, because I know for a lot of people, you've obviously bought Bitcoin a lot later, and it has really changed my life. And I didn't think it would. I didn't think an investment of this magnitude would. And it allowed me to basically be vocal on, at the time it was Facebook. I was on a Facebook group and I used to talk a lot, and I used to teach people how to buy it and how to safely move it across. And another thing as well, back in those days, there wasn't wallets, right? Honestly, right? No word of a lie. You would download the wallet as an application on your computer, and you would download every single block. Once it downloaded and it was all in sync, you can then use that wallet. It was madness. It's so cool. But yeah, things have changed a lot. And like, as I say, there wasn't ledgers or anything back in 2016. There wasn't Tangem or something. They all kind of came about a couple of years later. There was obviously some wallets, and some of the wallets back in those days were very, very good wallets, but they weren't like UI friendly mobile sort of stuff. They were very much clients on your computer. It was absolutely mental. So yeah, when I look at when I bought it, I literally was buying a bit of euphoria. Talking about this sort of area where it was going on a run, it already peaked, it retracing. I didn't know anything about technical analysis back in those days. I was literally just like guessing. But I knew the basics. I knew what Bitcoin was, why I was buying it. I knew how to buy it. I knew how to transfer it to a wallet. I knew how to also convert it and sell it into USD if I needed to. It was very, very different beast back then. So yeah, a lot harder, but it was a lot of fun as well. But as you can imagine, yes, it went crazy. And the next video in this series will be about 2017 in terms of when I invested in altcoins, when I invested into the likes of Ethereum, Litecoin, stuff like that, and some absolutely random shitty picks that I can't really remember what I bought back in those days, because I don't think I have access to the exchanges anymore, because they've all gone, you can't get access to the Poloniex or Bittrex, certainly in my country, which is annoying. So yeah, that was kind of 2016. It was mental. And as I say, going back to it, there's some things I wish I did more of. I wish I bought more Bitcoin back in those. Obviously, yes, we all do. We'd love to go, remember that time in the pub where I was like, Bitcoin. But then you think, a couple of years later, you're eating your humble pie because you wish you bought it. That's like me. I'm like, I wish I just bought. I didn't so much write it off, but I used to just go, I wish I bought more. Even in the FTX crash, I'm saying to myself, I wish I bought more Bitcoin. It is what it is. But there you go. How crazy is life to think that one decision could either make it or break it, realistically, right? There'll be people that, I know people that sold Bitcoin too early. I genuinely know people that bought BMXs back in 2014 instead of, not so much there, even earlier than that, by 2013, we're buying stuff and products, maybe some dodgy products in certain places too. But that was what it was back in those days. Things have changed massively. But hey, there you go. If you enjoy this, leave a like, comment, subscribe, and all that kind of good stuff. If you want more of my content, check out Patreon or Learning Crypto if you want to learn from me.